The more famous and powerful I get, the more power I have to hurt men. Sharon Stone. Hey everyone. I'm sure by now everybody's heard about the Starbucks' new pro-loitering policy. It's been discussed by many video content creators and news outlets. I wasn't going to do a video about this until I realized that there's some important issues being ignored by just about everybody else. However, before we can talk about Starbucks, we first need to discuss the issue of homelessness. So, other than the social issues related to homelessness, why do so many people have a problem with the homeless? Well, there's a variety of reasons, but in this video, I'm only going to be addressing the issue of infectious disease. According to the Canadian Homeless Research Clearinghouse, Homeless Hub, homelessness has an impact on the spread, severity, and treatment of infectious diseases. Because of their compromised immune system, due to the inability to maintain personal hygiene and adequate nutrition, people experiencing homelessness are more vulnerable to illnesses than the general population. Having to stay in overcrowded and sometimes poorly ventilated spaces with other vulnerable people also raises the likelihood of spreading infectious diseases. In addition, transitioning between prison and homelessness, engaging in sex work, and using intravenous drugs also increases the risk for infectious diseases to spread. So which infectious diseases is Homeless Hub concerned about? Well, they cite hepatitis A, B, and C, as well as HIV and AIDS. But that's far from the end of it. There's also concerns about obstructive pulmonary disease, emphysema, bronchitis, as well as hypertension and diabetes, which according to Homeless Hub are all common among homeless populations. Even worse, Healing Hands published a report stating, research on MRSA in urban populations, though inconsistent on several risk factors, indicates a higher risk for individuals with histories of homelessness. About 1/4 of those infected with HIV and as many as half of some subpopulations are undiagnosed and may unknowingly spread HIV to partners. Prevalence of HIV is generally estimated to be at least 3 times higher among people who are homeless than in the general population. A recent survey of over 100,000 individuals in New York who spent at least one night in a homeless shelter found the prevalence of TB infection to be 11 times higher than the general population. So in addition to the other diseases mentioned, MRSA and TB are also major issues for the homeless. However, that's not the worst part of it. In May 2016, the National Healthcare for the Homeless Council released a fact sheet entitled Prevention and Response to Infectious Diseases Within the Homeless Population, where they state, the recent multi-state outbreaks of measles and global outbreaks of the Zika and Ebola virus underscore the need for comprehensive and effective community emergency response plans. In response to these and past outbreaks, government agencies, local and state health departments, and other entities have developed and implemented prevention and outbreak response procedures to reduce transmission and illness severity. Unfortunately, these procedures often do not address the unique circumstances of persons experiencing homelessness. So why is this important? Well, it's because Starbucks' new policy allows for non-customers to loiter in their stores without purchasing anything. Simply put, thanks to some social justice retard within Starbucks management, Starbucks stores are now Wi-Fi-enabled homeless shelters for the nation's growing homeless population. As such, Starbucks virtue signal marketing is ignorantly enabling the spread of infectious diseases from the homeless population to the general population. Would you like a double shot of MRSA with your coffee? How about Hep A, B, or C? Well, too bad and fuck you, because you're getting it anyway. Compliment to that homeless guy who just shotgun sprayed liquid shit across the woman's bathroom because he identifies as a female when at Starbucks. Do you invest in Starbucks stock? If you do, this next section you're going to want to pay attention to. You see, Starbucks brands itself on being the third place, after work and home presumably. However, in this case, being third place isn't even the first loser, especially when your company has adopted a Deuces Wild loitering policy that enables the spread of infectious diseases. But wait, that's not all. It gets better. How much did Starbucks pay to roll out its Deuces Wild policy? Well, according to Indeed.com, Starbucks store employees, from baristas to store managers, earn between an average of $9.80 per hour to $15 an hour on average. So for purposes of this discussion, let's use $10 an hour. With that in mind, Starbucks closed its stores for about 4 hours to train about 175,000 employees to let non-customers loiter in their stores, destroy their bathrooms, and spread infectious diseases. In wages alone, this 4-hour fecal adventure cost Starbucks at least $7 million in wages alone. This doesn't include lost sales or the potentially irreparable damage to their reputation. In fact, according to MarketWatch, Starbucks' reputation is at a 10-year low as a direct result of their shitty management decisions. So, if you invest in Starbucks, you may want to short them now before their stock turns into a steaming pile of SJW worthlessness. All joking aside, though, homelessness is a real and growing issue in the United States, but in order to solve it, we have to stop it at its source. If you read my book, The Feminist Lie, you'll know that homelessness is a deeply gendered problem that mainly affects men. Further, according to the National Healthcare for the Homeless Council's Healing Hands publication, it's been long known that men comprise 77% of single homeless adults. Now, a common assumption is that many homeless men choose homelessness as a lifestyle preference. But according to Jeff Olivet, MA, Family Case Manager at Albuquerque Healthcare for the Homeless Incorporated, Albuquerque, New Mexico, says he has rarely heard anyone say that he has chosen to be homeless. Society judges homeless men more harshly than women, says Olivet, even though both may be victims of abuse and neglect. This puts a lot of responsibility on individual males without considering their personal history and makes them feel that they have failed. There aren't many programs designed to help homeless men get back on their feet. Many homeless men work regularly and pay for a motel when they can, but they can't seem to break out of the cycle. Additionally, even though they try to obfuscate the facts in gender-neutral terms, Homeless Hub states, according to Homeless Link and Crisis, relationship breakdown is the #1 reported cause of lost accommodations. A report from the Parliament of Canada also lists marital breakdown as a key risk factor for homelessness. Sudden breakups or divorces are often traumatic, life-altering circumstances that contribute to homelessness for many reasons: loss of combined income, legal fees, extra payments, and so on. They even provide us with a handy chart from 2013 that completely obfuscates the impact divorce has on men. Let's take a look, shall we? According to the chart, job loss is responsible for 35% of homelessness. Change in family status, read divorce, is responsible for 10%. Being sick, disabled, or having a mental health issue is responsible for 10%. Being evicted by a family member is responsible for 13%. And finally, abuse is responsible for 11% of homelessness. Let's break this down into real terms. It's been well documented that when a man loses his job, his risk of divorce or breakup skyrockets. This is also true for men who become sick or otherwise disabled. Their wives and girlfriends often abandon them. Further, during a relationship breakup, the woman will often tell the man to leave, thereby evicting him from his home, rendering him homeless. Then we come to abuse, which according to a 2007 Harvard study, women commit 70% of one-sided domestic violence. So the majority of homelessness from abuse are also men as well. So in reality, feminism's war on men, marriage, and family values destroyed the social contract between men and women. As a result, women file over 70% of all divorces and are the gender more likely to abandon their relationship. This makes feminism the primary reason that homelessness has skyrocketed in the last few decades, because when you combine job loss, change in family status, being sick or otherwise disabled, abused, or evicted by a family member, the verifiable facts don't lie. Men are the vast majority of the homeless. Even more damning, if it hadn't been for feminism's war on men, marriage, and family values, There would be no need for Starbucks to destroy its reputation and profitability by becoming an infectious disease buffet for its customers. If you've enjoyed this video, found it educational or insightful, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel, both on YouTube and on Bitchute. And don't forget to hit the bell so that, hopefully, you'll be notified when I upload new content. However, the best way to ensure you don't miss any of my content is to periodically check my channel, both on YouTube and on Bitchute. You can also follow me at misandrytoday.com, gab.ai, minds.com, as well as support my work through Patreon. And don't forget to check out my sponsor, The Dollhouse. In case I'm targeted by YouTube, I mirror all my content on Bitchute. All the links are in the description. I'm DDJ, and this has been your dose of misandry today.